Coming to you from the Lydia Media Studios in the heart of Lewiston, Auburn, it's Lydia's Lunch Bunch, LA's afternoon morning show with Mark, Sarah, and who's the new girl?
This is Pam.
Oh, hi, Pam.
Hi. You know
How are
Pam?
you? All right.
Remember me?
Yeah.
Remember me from before?
Pam's here this morning. We are covering news and events in the greater LA area and talking to the people making a difference in our community. Feel free to share your comments, questions, or suggestions via email at podcast@lydiamediallc.com.
And today's show is brought to you by United Piping, serving residential and commercial customers with new installations and repairs. Call today and schedule your oil and gas boiler cleanings at 754-4556. UPI, the best plumbers around. Also brought to you by Ruper's Beverage and Redemption. When it comes to beer, wine, and spirits, don't botch it, squatch it. At 5 locations in Lewiston, Auburn, and Oxford. Learn more at rupersbeverage.com, and remember, the party starts at Ruper's.
We have the pleasure of being joined in studio today by the co-owner of Heat Pumps of Maine, Cam Bussiere. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Excellent. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And you shared with us that you have listened to a few episodes.
Oh, yeah.
And you're still...
I've been briefed.
You still decided to come in.
Absolutely.
We appreciate that. We're going to talk to Cam all about Heat Pumps of Maine and a whole lot more coming up here in just a bit. But before we get there, let's take a look at some headlines for Tuesday, June 3rd.
The Sun Journal reports that Central Maine Healthcare shut down its network servers and phone systems after identifying unusual activity within its computer system. Patients reported being unable to access the patient portal, connect with offices by phone, and non-emergent appointments being canceled. St. Mary's Health System experienced a similar issue last week.
Auburn voters are encouraged to cast their ballot for the school budget validation referendum next Tuesday, June 10th. All wards will vote at Auburn City Hall from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and the last day to request an absentee ballot is this Thursday. More information and a sample ballot can be found at auburnmaine.gov.
The Lewiston City Council will meet at 7 p.m. tonight. Agenda items include a public hearing and final passage vote on definitions for home businesses and a presentation on the city's economic development strategy. The full agenda can be found at lewistonmaine.gov. The meeting will be streamed on the city's YouTube channel.
And a moose was spotted near the intersection of Union and Center Streets in Auburn yesterday morning. Special Enforcement Officer James Davidson reported that the moose was last seen swimming away in the Androscoggin River. No foot chase was required, and a video is available on the city's Facebook page.
Did the moose consent to the video being posted of it?
I'm not sure.
Guys.
We should catch up with that moose.
Nice little swim in the Androscoggin.
Taking a swim in the Andy
Right.
today. That's so cute.
Oh, boy.
Pam,
Hi.
do you want to talk about the weather?
weather?
Should we talk about the weather?
She hasn't
that
talked
weather?
about the weather in
Well,
so long.
Let's talk about the weather.
Rain or shine, it's all okay. Grab your uke and start the day. Clouds may come or skies turn blue. Weather's fun with me and you. The sun is bright and storms may brew. Every day's a brand new view. You don't need perfect skies above. Hey, just a song and a little love.
See, Cam, if you didn't have the headphones on, you'd miss all that.
Oh, I got a new song to sing to my kids now.
Yeah. What a tragedy
That was beautiful.
that you would miss that. That's so nice.
Sarah, he's going to sing it to his kids.
Aw, that's so cute. Kids will like it.
They will. It's fun for me and you.
Boy.
The weather looks favorable.
Yeah, we have blue skies and sunshine today with a high of 75 and a low of 43. A mixture of sun and clouds tomorrow with a high of 82 and a low of 51. Sunny with some afternoon clouds rolling in on Thursday with highs in the 80s.
All right.
We'll take it.
I like it.
And don't forget, folks, rain on the way for the weekend.
Oh, well, obviously. It's the weekend.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
I'm here to help.
Oh. In sports, Mark, you want to take this one?
I'd rather not.
Mark was there when the Red Sox lost.
I delivered enough commentary on the game last night.
Well, the Red Sox lost to the LA Angels 7-6. That's pretty close.
Yeah, the Angels scored 6 runs in the first inning.
Okay.
And then the Red Sox had to play catch up all game long. At least they made a game out of it, and it was exciting. But
Yeah.
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 Loss is a loss.
A loss is a loss, exactly.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Spoken like a true coach, Pam.
The Red Sox will play again tonight at 7 p.m. at Fenway Park.
And how about this, Sarah?
I am ready.
The Sea Dogs host the Hartford Yard Goats tonight at 6 p.m.
I've been waiting all year for that.
I knew it.
The Yad Goats. Yes.
I joined today just for that.
Just for the Yad Goats.
That is your news, weather, and sports. And right now it's time for the podcast segment that is
Sweeping
the Twin Cities. It's time for famous people birthdays.
They're famous. It's their birthdays. It's famous people birthdays. It's famous people birthdays.
Cam, now you have another song to sing to your kids.
I might leave that one out.
Oh!
See, he liked the weather song. All right.
Let's take a look at FPBs for June the 3rd, shall we?
Short list.
Yeah.
Let's start off with TV journalist Anderson Cooper, who's 58 years old today. He is the host of Anderson Cooper 360.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does, right?
Oh, I wonder if that was
almost
named
like he
after
was
him. That's weird.
Made for that show.
Yeah.
Actor Scott Valentine is 67 years old today. Do you remember him?
No.
Nope.
He played Nick on Family Ties, who was the boyfriend of Mallory.
Oh.
Remember he had the big hair? And he was, all right, moving right along. I was going to ask you, Cam, but that is like 40 years before your time. So,
Absolutely.
singer Denise Williams is 75 years old today. She had the big hit, Let's Hear It for the Boy.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of Family Ties, she also recorded the song Without Us, which is the official theme song of Family Ties.
I actually really like that one.
Yeah. And rounding out FPBs for June the 3rd, singer Susie Quattro is 75 years old today. She played Leather Tuscadero on Happy Days, and she also sang the 1978 smash hit Stumblin' In.
Sing a little, Mark.
I love you so much, and so will we again.
Oh, yeah.
Stumbling.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Perfect.
Got it.
Cam's ears are bleeding.
Did not know there was going to be so much music involved today.
Right?
Sorry.
Those are your FPBs. Now let's take a look at some OTDs.
Lydia's asking to leave now.
Yeah.
No.
Lydia can't take it. She's like, what was that? Do you know how sensitive my ears are?
All right. Ready for some OTDs?
Let's do it.
All right. 14 years ago in 2011, Dr. Jack Kevorkian died.
Aw.
All on his own
Dr. Death died.
at age 83.
Oh. He was a big deal.
No help.
It was a
Back
big
then.
deal. No help.
Yeah.
Nope. Did it by himself. 33 years ago in 1992, presidential candidate Billy Clinton
Billy Clinton.
played saxophone on the Arsenio Hall show. Remember that? He blew Heartbreak Hotel and God Bless the Child, which had a surprisingly strong positive effect on his presidential run.
Well, there you go.
Well, everybody thought it was pretty cool that our potential president, could play the saxophone.
Or went by the name Billy.
Billy, I don't know. That was just
Doesn't take much for this country, I guess.
no. Well, proven fact.
Yeah, haven't we proven that time and time again?
All right. 70 years ago in 1955, The 7-Year Itch, which was a movie starring Marilyn Monroe where her skirt blew up in the subway, was released in New York. How about that? 70 years ago, that iconic photo of her. That was cute. 137 years ago in 1888, the poem Casey at Bat by Ernest Lawrence Thayer was first published in the San Francisco Daily Examiner. Do you want to guess how much money he made from that?
A lot?
$5.
Oh,
How much was that in 1888?
right.
Right? Well,
Probably
no.
buy a house
compared
with
to-
that.
I know, right? That's like $8,000 now,
Yeah.
right? Who knows?
Oh.
79 years ago in 1946, Jacques Heim, a French fashion designer, debuted a two-piece bathing suit in Paris and named it the Bikini, after the Bikini Atoll Islands in the South Pacific, where atomic bomb testing was going on. He chose that name because he thought the bikini was so scandalous that people would react to it the way they react to an atomic bomb being dropped. Interesting. 225 years ago, in 1800, President John Adams moved to Washington, D.C. Unfortunately, the White House wasn't finished yet, so he moved into a room above a tavern.
That's what you do. right? I mean, the press.
Right. You're the president. You
Yeah.
can live where you want.
Sometimes you
Wasn't he? John Adams was only the second president of the United States. Isn't that correct?
I believe you are correct.
Yeah, George Washington did it as long as he could, and then they were like, it's getting kind of old.
Yeah, had enough of you.
Gotta go.
All right, those are your FPBs and OTDs for June the 3rd.
Whether you want a sit-down meal or a grab-and-go, Pat's Pizza in Auburn offers delicious sandwiches, pasta, salads, and pizza at family-friendly prices. Pat's Pizza, serving the L.A. area since 1985. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 85 Center Street in Auburn. Online at patsauburn.com.
Now we shift focus fully to our guest in studio, Cam Bussiere, co-owner of Heat Pumps of Maine. How did you get into the heat pump business?
It's a great question. So before heat pumps, I was a project manager for a large manufacturing food company. And my business partner was actually a project manager for an HVAC company. And we've known each other since we were little tots, playing on the baseball field together. And one day, after playing in a men's softball league game, he had asked me, "Hey, you want to help me out this weekend? I got a project. I putting in a couple heat pumps for a friend on the side and could use some help." Okay. Went, put them in with him that weekend, and I was really blown away by their ability to, at this time, cool the house and how quiet they were, how efficient it was, how comfortable the house felt after. Now, I kind of pitched this idea to him. I was like, "What? Why don't you do this full time?" Like, just bought a house, have a kid, don't really have the ability to just jump out on my own right now. And, for me, I was new into my career and had just gotten the position that I was looking to get. Really wasn't looking to make a change either. And one day it kind of just hit me while I was at work. Project after project was being piled on top of me. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this for the rest of my life. Called my buddy back. I'm like, we should join forces here, and I think we can really make something happen. I'm sold. These heat pumps, I love them. He's like, "Oh, well, let's talk about it." I'm like, "Well, we're not going to talk about it. I'm quitting my job. Like, we're doing this whether you're going to quit or not." So I had taken the leap and just up and left my job. My wife was extremely supportive of it. Started putting them in on the weekends, learning as much as I can, calling him all day long while he was at work, asking him questions. And 6 months later, we had built up enough clientele and a large enough book of business where he was able to leave and join us as well. And now there's 11 of us strong, and
Wow.
we're at it every day.
What an awesome story.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Can you take us through the decision process of leaving? I'm assuming a high-paying, comfortable job. Well, it wasn't very comfortable for you because
It had
you weren't
become
happy
uncomfortable,
there.
yeah.
Oh, I mean, at first it was great. I had the opportunity. My wife was a traveling nurse, and as part of what I did was installing brand new production lines as well as building factories. So I was able to live almost every part of the United States, parts of Europe, traveling all over the place. My wife would follow me. It was fantastic. Moved back to Maine because we wanted to start a family. Got a really good job here as a project manager and doing some pretty large scale projects. And I was told one day by somebody, like, the more that you do, be careful. You're just going to get more added to your plate here. Okay, well, I want more added to my plate. That's what I'm trying to do. And it just stacked up, project after project after project. And eventually it got to a point where I knew that I wasn't physically capable of doing everything on my plate. And company had switched over hands to a new employer. I had asked my new boss, can I get some help? Can I hire somebody to, work under me, help me out with some of these projects? And was basically told, like, if I can't handle the workload, maybe this isn't the position for me.
Well, you showed him.
After working my way up from, the bottom of the bottom at the company to where I was at, that's not something that I wanted to hear from my new employer. Went home that day, talked to my wife, and said, "This is it. I'm done. I'm making the jump." And it was one of the best decisions I ever made.
What was that like? Can you talk a little bit about the process of starting a business?
I'm used to working in cross-functional departments, everything from dealing with customers to dealing with employees to large manufacturers, vendors. So I had a really good holistic view of how a business should be run. And I knew that it started with the customer. And I knew that if we could build meaningful relationships with every person that we come in contact with, that we would be successful. So that's how it really started for us, was any person, whether we could help them or not, we went out of our way to make sure that we made a difference. we have a review on our Google My Business. It's one of the first reviews that we ever got, and I call it our $1 million review. And it was for a customer that we couldn't even help. And she had a problem. She couldn't find anybody to fix it. It was not a system or a problem that we were able to tackle manpower-wise, but I had the knowledge of how it should have been approached. So I was able to put together a plan for her of exactly how she should go about addressing her problem for her home. I mean, down to the exact equipment list that she would need, and then give her recommendations of companies local to her that would be able to solve it. And I remember her calling me back after a week saying, "Hey, I touched base with that company and gave them everything, that you had given me, and they were blown away by how detailed it was, and they're asking to speak with you." Like, no, I'm not interested. We're working on starting my own thing right now. I've done that in the past.
Yeah.
She left us a fantastic review that stated that even though we weren't able to help her with her project physically, that we provided the groundwork for her to get her on her way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And what year did you begin?
So my business partner had been doing it since 2017, kind of on the side, weekends, after work. We joined forces and started and rebranded as Pumps of Maine in 2021.
Your website is fantastic. Your branding is fantastic. And I love your mascot, the dog.
Yeah, Timber.
Where did that come from?
Oh, yeah.
So that is that's my business partner Dave's dog. And we were thinking about, when we were talking about branding, colors, mascot, what we wanted to do. Timber was always out running around. I'm like, who doesn't love a lab? Everybody loves them.
Can't go wrong with a chocolate
And if
lab.
you don't love dogs, maybe.
We're right there with you, Cam.
Have Timber and Lydia ever met?
No.
I
No?
believe
Well-
so. I think Timber would be a big fan, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's a big fan of Lydia.
It's true.
How old is Timber?
Timber is, I believe, 7 or 8.
Okay.
Oh, they're right around the...
Lydia's 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do not have a heat pump in my home. It's one of the things I've been considering for the past few years. Can you explain how they work?
Yeah, so heat pumps are a very efficient source of heating and cooling. And how they work is, unlike a traditional, heating or cooling source that's actually generating heat, they work on transferring it. So using refrigerant and just a little bit of magic, they're able to pull heat from the home and cooling it, as well as deriving heat from the outside air and pushing it inside. So heat pumps are able to really effectively heat and cool homes by just working the air back and forth between the outside and the inside, other than just like a traditional oil burner or gas burner that you're burning a fossil fuel and generating that heat.
They're very effective. We have a very small open concept home. It's a 25 by 25 square footprint, and we have one heat pump, and it cools in the summertime. When you open the front door, you're like, holy smokes, like it is like perfectly cooled.
Right. It's a
whole house.
very dry cool as well. And under like a traditional air conditioner, it's just blasting in cold air. You set it as low as you could possibly get it, max the fan speed out, and just crank cold air in the house. It focuses on keeping an air transfer over that indoor unit to remove as much moisture as possible. So not only are we cooling the home by removing the heat, we're actually removing humidity, so it's a much drier, cooler temp that feels a lot more comfortable.
It's very, very comfortable. And it's cozy in the wintertime, too.
Yeah, you love yours.
I do love my heat pump. And actually, Heat Pumps of Maine did a little repair on it not that long ago, which was nice.
We did. Little mouse got in.
A little, mouse or chipmunk or something chewed up some of the tubing on the outside, but it was a quick fix. And actually, the guy who came to fix it didn't have what he needed, so he left the house and came back within like an hour and fixed it. I'm sorry, I don't remember the technician's name, but he was.
I believe it was Manny, and actually Manny just graduated from school, so we've. Manny's been with us for a couple years while he's been working his way through HVAC school. He's been a huge asset to our company, and he's just graduated. We're super proud of him.
Yeah.
And he's now
that's so
full-time
cool.
and right on his way.
Yeah,
Awesome.
he did a great job, and he was super clean and quick, and everything works the way it's supposed to work. So I was very happy. I should leave a Google review.
You should.
That'd be great.
I should.
So, Cam, if I were to install a heat pump in my home, does that mean I could get rid of my oil-burning furnace?
So you can. I personally do not recommend getting rid of any traditional source of heat. It's one of those things that you can't be too sure. Right. And having something as a backup is, could be huge if in case something did go wrong. Mm-hmm. Now, the chances of something going wrong with the heat pump are fairly rare, but it does happen. Mm-hmm. Usually what I recommend is, depending on the heat, depending on the situation that your house needs, is most of the time the heat pump is going to be more efficient. So set the heat pump as the primary source. Turn your traditional source of heating down several degrees lower so it's not running. Mm-hmm. But in case something happens, your traditional source can kick right back in and save the day until we can figure out what's going on.
There are very few days in the wintertime when we need to use our oil-burning furnace, but it was maybe a couple of years ago when it dropped in February, it dropped really, really low. We had both the heat pump and the oil furnace
right.
going.
Yeah, a lot of the heat pumps that were installed, 5 years or later, their operating temperatures are anywhere between 0 and minus 14 degrees. So there are some days where you would need a traditional source of heat to kick in. The new equipment that we're installing now can actually go as low as minus 22.
Wow.
So with a minus 22 outdoor operating temperature, there's very few days that we're going to have here where that heat pump can't be your primary source of heat.
Nice.
Wow. This is exciting. I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to make the switch here.
When you're speaking of that, when you're looking to install a heat pump, is there a perfect situation for putting a heat pump into your home? Do you look for certain wall space or certain square footage or anything like that? Definitely
location matters the most, right? It's a tough balance because sometimes the best spot in the house is not the most aesthetically pleasing spot. A lot of people don't like the look of the outdoor units, don't want them on the front of the house. Maybe they don't want the indoor unit as a focal point in the house for people to look at. So what we really specialize in is understanding what the customer is looking to do first and foremost. Mm-hmm. We're not there to sell you anything. We're there to help you fix your problem and get what you need, so that's what you want. We do a good job of educating the customers on what's the best location performance-wise, what might be the best location aesthetic-wise, and can we make a compromise to install a system that you're not only happy with, but is going to give you the performance that you're looking for. When you're choosing one, how do you decide how big of a heat pump you need? A lot of it is based on the sizing of the area that we're looking to heat and cool, as well as the age of the home. It's not just plug and play, this is the size of the house, let's put in this size heat pump. A lot of the newer homes are built, up to code with great insulation, seamless around the windows, very little air loss in the home, where most of the houses we're doing in Lewis and Auburn are, anywhere from 1900s to 1950s homes that have very little updates at all. My house we do a good job of taking that into consideration with what we would need to size in order to meet the home's efficiency needs. Yeah, my house was built in the 30s, so there's definitely some places where the heat's getting out.
Yep.
Cam, can you take us through the installation process and what the unit looks like on the outside and the inside of the home?
So what we do during the estimate is, we find locations for the indoor and outdoor units, get that alignment with the customer. When we show up, sometimes things change with the customer, of course, so we're always good to, re-go over the installation plan before we even put a screw in a wall and make sure we're all aligned. Once we walk through that, a lot of the customers will tend to stay there and watch a little bit, make sure we're putting everything exactly where they should be, which they should. You're doing a big investment. You want to make sure that it's exactly how you want it. But really, like I said before, we try to put the units in the most aesthetically speaking spots as possible. We don't want to bury your house in outdoor units, covered right in the front, so it's the focal point when you walk right in. We find locations where hopefully you have to look hard to see where the unit is. So we don't want to disrupt the neighborhood, don't want to disrupt the appeal of the outside of the house, as well as making sure when we're putting things on the inside of the house that everything is centered, it's symmetrical, it looks like it belongs. It's not this ungodly eyesore that you walk right in the house like, what the heck is that hanging on the wall?
Yeah. What about the outside? What's the unit on the outside and how big of a footprint does it take?
Depends on the sizing of the unit. They can be anywhere from the size of a large microwave to the size of a refrigerator, when we're doing it large, commercial units. So it's very important to us to make sure we're putting them in a spot that's not going to look out of place.
And you don't want to have to come back and move it when when your customer's not happy, right?
It's happened. And it's not just, disconnecting piping and wiring and just shifting it over. It's a big change when we have to move one of these units. So we make sure before we start the process that we're putting things exactly where they need to be.
Right, because you're putting holes in the home.
Holes in the home, running electrical wires, tracking on the outside of the house. Just one simple move, even if it's a few feet, can mean a half day of work just to get everything disconnected and reinstalled.
What about maintenance on these units?
It's a great question. So what we offer at Heat Pumps of Maine is a full maintenance plan that comes standard with our equipment at no additional cost. So every unit we install has a full 12-year parts warranty from the manufacturer, and we throw in a 12-year labor warranty as long as you're maintaining the equipment. And maintaining the equipment is simple. It's pretty much like a boiler cleaning, where we're going in once a year, once every other year, taking apart the indoor unit, chemical cleaning the coils, the drain pan, purging out the drain line, doing the same thing to the outdoor unit, checking components while we're there to see if something's about to fail, and if it is, replacing it right there on site. We really want to give our customers a peace of mind that when they install equipment with us, that they're taken care of. And one of the big things right now is there's a lot of installers out there. The state's made it pretty easy to get a license to install. Is someone going to install the equipment and take care of it after it's all said and done, or are they going to move on to the next person and say you need to find somebody else? So with our 12-year parts and 12-year labor warranty, we're giving our customers that peace of mind that you've chosen us, we appreciate that, and we're going to make sure your unit stays running.
What about your service area in the state of Maine?
It varies. We try to stay anywhere between an hour and a half of Lewis and Auburn. That being said, we have some clients that have done a ton of work with us that know what we do. They've trusted us at this point, and they'll maybe have a place on the water that they bought in Booth Bay, or a place up north in Rangeley that they're looking to outfit. And because we're able to build meaningful relationships with our customers, we build that trust level where we know that if I have to take a half a day to go up somewhere, it's worth it. I'm not just making a drive for no reason. They trust us to give us the best pricing and the best equipment. We trust them that they're going to pick us to do the job.
And I noticed on your Facebook page you have some Efficiency Maine rebates available.
Ooh.
Yes, so right now the rebates are the largest that they have ever been. Depending on income level, you can get anywhere between $1,000 and $9,000 off instantly from the state if you outfit your house with heat pumps.
Wow.
One of the things that we do to make it easier on our homeowners, and we're one of the few that do this, are we handle all the rebate paperwork and take it right off the price. So if you're installing a system with us, we build that in. We guarantee it. So if we mess up somewhere, it's not on the homeowner, it's on us. Yep. And after the job's done, we'll invoice for the full amount and have the rebate sent directly to us, so you're not upfronting the money and waiting to get that reimbursed.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
When we installed ours a long time ago, maybe 7 years ago, and at the time we thought the rebates were pretty darn good. So this is impressive. I think it was $500 at the time that we did it.
Yeah, that's 3 or 4 programs back now.
Yeah,
they've been steadily increasing over time.
Quite a while ago. It does save us so much money, though, honestly, in the oil. We have a newer furnace, too, but it certainly doesn't have to kick on nearly as much as it used to. And it's like our electric bill's a little bit higher, but the cost of oil is so much higher.
Right.
That it balances it out. It makes so much sense.
A properly installed heat pump system can absolutely save you money.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, it's a little bit of a trade-off because you are going to spend more on your electric bill.
Right.
But the idea is that if it's designed right, and installed correctly, that you will save on your overall energy costs by limiting your needs for, say, fossil fuels or other sources of heat.
Do you have an estimate of about how much people save each year?
Depends on the source of heat that they were switching away from. If you're switching away from electric baseboard heat, you could save as much as 60 to 70%.
Yeah.
If you're switching away from a traditional fossil fuel source, anywhere between 20 and 50%, depending on the situation. If you're switching away from wood heat or pellets, not really a cost savings there.
It's just the messiness of it.
But, you don't have the labor of loading wood, several times a day, or storing pellets in your basement.
Yeah.
And it cools.
Right.
And it's
If someone can burn wood and cool their house, that'd
be weird.
incredible.
If we figured that out, that'd be neat. Yeah.
And you offer financing as well?
We do. We have 2 sources of financing. We have the National Energy Improvement Fund, which is set at any improvement for your house really based on home's efficiencies, as well as Efficiency Maine has started their own green bank, which right now we have a very high approval rating for customers who are looking to switch over from a fossil fuel source of heat to heat pumps. Efficiency Maine, if the systems are designed right and you're using a registered vendor, will finance the project in full.
Wow. Where do I sign up?
I know. You got to get in on this. Come on.
What is the waiting list right now, Cam?
For as far as getting to the home for a consultation, we're usually there within a week. During the summertime, things get crazy. Tomorrow's going to be 80. Wednesday's supposed to be 85. We're going to get a lot of phone calls with, I want cooling, I want it now.
Right.
During the summer for installs, we're usually anywhere between 4 and 6 weeks out, depending on the size of the installation. But we can usually fit things in sooner based on the needs of the customer.
You sell and you service a product that you believe in 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love this story. I can't remember if it was a story you told during BNI or if it was a one-to-one, but when you were on vacation in Florida and your wife asked you not to wear Heat Pumps of Maine clothing, but you did anyway.
Yeah, we were in Tampa, Florida. We were eating at a restaurant. And I always wear my Heat Pumps of Maine hat. I'm always trying to brand myself wherever I go. Yeah. My wife's like, "Come on, we're on vacation. Take the hat off. Like, just put on a button-up shirt and stop wearing all your Heat Pumps of Maine stuff." I'm like, "No, you never knew who you're gonna meet."
People from Maine are in Florida.
Oh yeah, I had sat down no longer than 5 minutes. Someone came right up to me. They're like, "Maine, where are you from?" I'm like, "I'm from Lewiston." They're like, "I'm from Bangor. What do you do?" I'm like, "I install heat pumps." And next thing you know, we were setting up an estimate for when we both get back. We actually ended up putting heat pumps in at that guy's house, and I remember him walking away from the table and me turning around, giving my wife a little smirk. She's just shaking her head. She's like, "You gotta be kidding me."
She says, "Fine,
I'm like,
I'm on vacation."
You never know where you're gonna meet somebody.
Right.
You have
Never
to always
know.
be ready.
Do you have any nightmare customer stories that you'd like to share?
Yeah, we have a few. One that comes to mind in particular is, we do our best to really make sure that we're fully aligned with our customers on what the project is, what the cost is going to be, what are our potential watch outs for, hey, if this happens, we might have to do this. If this happens, we might have to do that. And one customer comes in mind, we talked with them for weeks on this project that was very, 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 very simple. And I knew in the back of my mind that if we did this install, I just had that feeling. Something is going to come up out of nowhere. I'm not sure what it is with this person, but their intentions don't seem to be in a good place. My business partner and I talked about it. Months had gone by. We'd completely forgotten about it. Then the customer reached back out and said, "Yeah, I want to move forward with the project." I sensed a different tone in their voice. I'm like, okay, against my better judgment, let's go over there and
Trust your
do
instincts.
this. And, our guys are very, very good at what they do. I very rarely hear from them during the day unless something comes up. I remember sitting in the office, and they arrived there at 8:05. I heard my phone ringing, and it was one of the guys. And I'm like, oh, no, here we go. Answer the phone. I say, "Hey, we're going to have some problems here."
Oh, no.
Okay, let me drive down there and make sure everything's okay. By the time I had gotten down there, the whole scope that we had talked about had completely changed. Pricing in their mind had completely changed. And, we don't take down payments. We don't take deposits. We come in and we do the job in full, and we invoice after.
Which, by the way, was a very easy process.
When COVID hit and we didn't have a lot of equipment available, and you have down payments from people, and you're pushing out jobs because you don't have equipment, people end up getting upset. That, hey, you have my money, where's this job?
Right.
So we decided to stop that and put good faith in our customers and aligned with everything when I was there, talked with her, did the job. On the way back from the job, I stayed there the whole time with the guys. We're going to make sure this thing goes right. Get all the way back to the shop, and I get a call from her, and she's, "I'm not paying for this. This is not what I wanted. I don't want them here. I want them over here. You put them here." And we weren't put in a screw until she told us we could put in the screw. So we went back, talked with her. She wanted to go to the other estimate that we had written up that was much more difficult, more money, of course, a lot more material, a lot more labor hours. She's like, "Nope, I want it the way that we had talked about when you were here on site. I don't want to pay a penny more." So, sometimes that happens. We just ate it. We went back. We redid the entire project for estimate B that was a little bit more money and more labor intensive. And she lucked out and got a very sophisticated install at an extremely good price. But for our end, we try and avoid conflict as much as possible. And we're on to the next one.
Yeah.
What's the lesson that you took away from this experience?
Trust your instincts.
Yeah.
But even then, I've gotten better over time of understanding customers' needs and what they're looking for ahead of time. So we do a good job of making sure things like that don't happen and really aligning with our customers of, hey, you might regret putting something here. Right. Are you sure we don't want to put it here? If it's not within your budget, if it's not within your constraints, let's work on a happy medium solution to get you to that point. Let's do it right the first time and not try and cut costs just to, pinch pennies now and spend dollars later.
Yep. Make everybody happy at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought maybe the customer that invited you over, which you thought was going to be a quote, but it ended up being like a 2-hour pancake breakfast.
Oh, yeah. That was
You have Sarah's attention.
very interesting. Yeah, we had a customer call that I thought was an estimate and instead was inviting me to a pancake breakfast with a bunch of elderly people.
Oh.
It ended up being a fantastic time.
So much fun.
I went in there with the mindset of, okay, we got a big commercial space here. We're going to put in some heat pumps. It's going to be a large project. And it turned out to be a pancake breakfast with a bunch of elderly people that kind of just wanted to talk.
Aww.
And I had to push out a lot of quotes so that I was there for hours eating pancakes, talking with these individuals. I don't think we mentioned heat pumps once. And I remember leaving, going out in the car and sitting there for a minute wondering, what just happened? Who was I even talking to on the phone? How did this get set up?
This was a trap.
I ate about 10 pancakes. I was stuffed. The rest of the day seemed like a wash to me.
It was like a blur of maple syrup coma.
It was a blur. Well, this day is not gone how I expected. But
Sometimes those are the best days.
it was certainly interesting.
What did you take away from that experience?
If someone's going to offer you free pancakes, you take it.
Yeah.
Was that billable hours? Like, what do we...
I didn't even know who to send in. I don't even remember who I talked to set up the estimate. Kind of just walked in, looked around, and all eyes were on me, and a lady asked me to sit down next to her and just started talking about her life.
Oh, man.
Wow.
I love
That sounds awesome, actually. I would probably really...
does.
I mean, pancakes and
Happy
old
mistake.
people? Come on.
Pancakes and old people.
I mean, you could just have pancakes with Mark.
Except that Mark doesn't eat pancakes.
Oh,
What a burn from the part-timer
I know.
over here, right?
That's just why you call her the sniper.
My God. Oh, boy.
making up for lost time.
Yeah.
She's been out for a couple weeks. So.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Cam, what types of brands of heat pumps are you installing?
We recommend two of the major brands right now, either Samsung or Mitsubishi. Mm-hmm. Our guys are factory trained and certified to install all the major brands. However, we've worked with those brands the most. We found that they're the better brands for the cold weather climate, as well as the support we get from those manufacturers in terms of spare parts, timing of equipment. We've built a great relationship with both of them where we know that the product that we're putting in, we stand behind, and they're going to stand behind it as well.
Mm-hmm. What life lesson did you learn from leaving your previous job to start being a co-owner of Heat Pumps of Maine?
When I left, it had a lot to do with, my wife and I, we had traveled for years all over the place, and it was great. She was a traveling nurse. I was traveling, for projects, putting in equipment, and it was awesome. I wouldn't trade those years for anything. But we really wanted to start a family. And for me, I've always wanted to have kids. I've always wanted to invest a lot in kids and family life. The career that I had currently was not going to be sufficient for giving me the time and resources that I needed to spend that time with family that I was looking. So really the life lesson that I got from making the jump was if you want to do something, do it. Yep. No one's holding you back but yourself. Make it happen. If you're determined enough, if you have the right mindset and the right work ethic, you can do anything. And if you can sit there and be stuck in your 9 to 5 and live out the rest of your life just like everybody else, or you can make a leap and try and make something for yourself and grow something that you can be proud of, your family can be proud of, and your employees can be proud of as well.
That is powerful. Thanks for sharing that. You, Pam, you're inspirational people. You are. Pam, stop it. You're an award winner. Everybody was there.
Everybody
we all saw
knows. We saw. You can't hide it.
People like you and Pam that just decided one day that I'm going to take the leap and I'm going to start this business and it's going to succeed.
Look at where
Failure's
you are.
not an option.
Yeah.
No.
Right. No, absolutely.
No. You've come a long way.
That is great stuff. Cam, anything else about Heat Pumps of Maine that you would like our listeners to know?
Really, for us, what we're looking for as we grow with the company is to continue to build relationships with our customers. We want people to look at us as experts in the area for their problems that they have. We're very low pressure. We're not the pressure sales type of company. We're not out there to just make a quick buck and move along. We're looking for our community to help use us as a resource for things that they need, and through BNI and Pam and other people that we've met, if we can't solve something for you, we know somebody who can. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. Even the simplest questions that you might think are silly, that I don't want to waste someone's time with it. We might end up being able to really make a difference in someone's lives. So absolutely reach out to us. Any questions that someone has, and we'll do our best to make sure that they're taken care of.
What's the best way for folks to reach out?
Either give us a call. Our number is 977-HVAC. Or you can reach out to us at heatpumpsofmaine@gmail.com. Our website, heatpumpsofmaine.com as well, are the best ways to reach out to us.
Locally owned and locally focused, Lydia Media celebrates the heart of the greater Lewiston-Auburn area through 2 magazines, Uncle Andy's Digest and LA Metro Magazine, and the new Lydia's Lunch Bunch podcast. Each production shines a positive light on local businesses, nonprofits, events, and individuals making a difference in our community. Keep your advertising dollars local and position your business in front of your target audience with Lydia Media. Learn more at lydiamediallc.com.
We like to close the show with a segment called 3 Random Questions, where we ask you questions that have nothing to do with your profession.
Okay.
Is that cool with you?
Absolutely.
All right. What is something that you could teach someone to do today with 100% certainty?
Put together a outdoor play set for a child that takes 40 hours of time, and you only have 15 hours to do it. My family, our boys, are just turned 2 and 3, and we have a birthday party on Sunday. And the family members are awesome. They've decided to pitch in and buy our boys a play set, a big play set that comes unassembled.
Of course.
That requires 40 hours of time and 2 people to do it. And it arrived yesterday, and I have until Sunday to get this thing up and running. So I have become an expert on putting together swing sets, as well as making a list of family members that I'm going to put on who bring an unassembled gift to the birthday party. They're all going to go down on a special little list that I have written down.
Awesome.
Just for later.
Your former life as a project manager is going to make this go by with ease.
Oh, I've hours of watching videos, being prepared.
Yeah.
My house is covered in wood. My kids are banging on the window, screaming at me to hurry up. It's a very high-pressure situation.
He's not so much looking for someone to teach. He's looking for someone to help.
Absolutely. Basically. Come learn hands-on. I'll be at it all night.
That's what I'm hearing. It's a cry for help.
It's a cry.
Absolutely. Correct.
So you're going to work to relax now.
Pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
Leave me alone about the play set.
My hands are raw from the wood.
If you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I want to say lobster because it's my favorite food. But lobster's also one of those things that once you have too much of it,
Yeah. You might get tired of it.
you kind of get tired of it.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to go with something boring that I could withstand eating every day, with like chicken. You can season it, flavor it a bunch of different ways. It's pretty bland if you don't put anything on it. I think I'd be able to work myself in getting that down every day of the week.
Pizza is a very popular answer to that question.
Pizza would be good as well.
It's a meal, so it could be like a combination of, right? Chicken and two
Pizza,
sides.
you could put whatever you want on
Right.
top, right? So
I think I would still get sick of pizza, though.
Yeah.
I would say something like salad, I guess, because it could be like
different all
pasta
the time.
salad. It could be.
Well, if you ask my kids,
Garden
it
salad.
would be macaroni and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Same
the
with
thing
Alex.
right now. That's all they eat.
Kraft.
This morning when I got up, got my youngest Brooks out of bed. I'm like, hey, buddy, how's it going? Mac and cheese.
Okay.
All right.
Good morning to
We
you.
just had
too.
that last night and the night before and the night before that. But sure, we'll make some mac and cheese.
I think I might go with eggs. Because you can make eggs in any different way.
True.
Right? And add stuff to them.
But I think the spirit of the question is the exact same meal
every single
day.
time. Oof,
Yeah.
that is so
That
hard.
is rough.
Yeah, pepperoni pizza is pretty good, though. That's pretty good. All right, last question. What smell, the moment you smell it, reminds you of your childhood?
This is an interesting one. I know the answer right off the top of my head. It's odd, but it is newspaper.
Oh.
So when I was 4-ish years old, my grandparents, they have a big barn out in Sabatis, and me, my brother, and my cousins were all exploring the barn, and we heard like little cries, and as we're exploring, we found 3 little kittens. And we took those 3 kittens in, couldn't find the mom anywhere, got them all cleaned up and everything, and I remember being so excited to finally have a pet of my own. We brought them home, we put them all on newspaper.
Oh.
And the smell of the cats and the newspaper, anytime I'd walk through the door, little kittens, of course they're not trained for the litter box or anything, that smell just hit you right when you came out of the house. And actually those cats are gone now, but 20 years later, almost to the date, I found 3 more cats in the same exact spot in the barn, which I have right now.
Oh,
Decided to keep them as well.
Oh.
So sometimes, just right, if you take an old school newspaper and you open it up, I get that smell, and it just takes me back to when I was young. Coming home from school, opening the door to the house, and being like, "Whoa, where are the kids? It's time to play."
Awesome.
That's cute. Wow.
Like that.
Cam, thanks so much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure. And folks, go online to heatpumpsofmaine.com to get all your info. And we wish you continued success
Thank you.
in your business. And I'll be calling you soon.
I'm going to need a heat pump.
Thanks to our sponsors, Ruper's Beverage and Redemption and United Piping. And if you'd like to be part of the Lydia's Lunch Bunch advertising family, reach out to Pam Ashby via email at pam@lydiamediallc.com.
Have a great day. And remember, don't bite your cat. And I will say I have bitten my cat.